All right, so the last time I demoed, we were looking at doing the portal image. So I have this picture of the desert, and then I have a picture of the waterfall. Remember, I started with just adding my waterfall picture in. Let's see, maybe I'll actually add another picture into this one. Maybe I'll take a picture of a bird. So I add the picture in. If you do not see the picture, so I can see it over here on my layers panel, but I can't see it actually in my design. Remember, your layers, whatever's at the top, is what you are going to see first. So I need to take this picture of the bird and drag it up to the top of my layers panel so that I can see it in front of everything else. Then I'm going to resize this parrot. I'm going to take this parrot and resize it. Put it where in my design I want it. And then there's a couple different ways that I can get rid of the background on this parrot, depending on what I want it to look like. If I want the parrot to kind of blend in with the background and automatically get rid of the white background around it, I can set this blend mode to multiply. To get to the blend mode, I'm going into the menu on the layers, and then just set your blend mode to multiply. Depending on what you're trying to add to it, that may work well. With this parrot, you can see it doesn't work that great. There's too many other colors around, so my parrot looks really dark. So I'm going to set this back to none. And then I'm going to get my scissors tool. I don't know why it just went super pixelated. Actually going to delete it and bring that picture back in so that it's not all pixelated. So again, I'm resizing it. I'm making sure it's in the layers panel over here where it needs to be. And then since it has a white background on it, when I get my scissors tool, I'm going to use my magic mask. I want to make sure that this contiguous is clicked. Something being contiguous means that it's going to be everything that's touching. So contiguous is clicked. I click on the white and it takes everything out around the background. I can resize my parrot after that if I need to. And put him wherever in my design I think he should go. If I want to change, so let's say I want this parrot to be facing the other direction, I can go up here to my flip horizontal, and now you can see my parrot is facing to the left instead of to the right. Remember we talked about last week this dodge and burn tool? So let's say there's an area in my foreground that I want to make darker. I can use this darken with this dodge and burn tool. The strength is how much it's changing. You can change your brush however you need to. And you also have the shadows, the middle tones, and the highlights. So if it's not adjusting how you want it to, make sure that you are going between the middle tones, the shadows, which are the darker areas of your picture, and the highlights. So dodge and burn lightens and darkens the picture. And then you have the sun, which is the sponge tool. And that can increase or decrease how colorful something is. So let's say this top part up here, I want to decrease how colorful it is. The strength works the same way as on the other tool. I can decrease the vibrance, so how bright the colors are. I can decrease the saturation, so that's the actual color in the picture, so turning it black and white versus super like over colored. And I can also change the temperature between warmer and colder. So if I increase the temperature of something, it's going to make more oranges. If I decrease the temperature of something, it's going to make more blues and greens. When you're done, make sure you're going up to File, Save, and always make sure that you are choosing this far to the right. I noticed yesterday that the program switched to calling it a PXZ file instead of a PXD file. But just make sure that that file type to the far right, that's the software we're using's file type that it saves as. Just make sure you're saving it as, whether you see a PXD or a PXZ, that is the file type you need. And also make sure that every time you're saving it to your Google Drive, not just saving it in your downloads. So you go to Show in Folder and make sure that you're dragging that image that you just saved into your folder for this classroom so that you will have it in future days. Also, don't forget the history on the far right-hand side. So if you make a mistake, you can always go into your history, and it lets you go back quite a few steps, but it won't necessarily let you go back all the way to the start. And if you save your image and log out of it, usually when you go back in, it's not going to keep that history. So it's only going to save the history as you are working.